Good afternoon and welcome to the last edition of Political Update for the year 2024. At this point, I must sincerely say congratulations for making it to the end of the year. Thank God, 2024 didn't see your end, but you have seen the end of 2024. A lot is going on in the political scene, and it's appropriate we bring to you what we expect in 2025. Anambra State governorship election, you remember, next year, 2025, just a few hours from now. The new year is already here in some countries, for instance, New Zealand and Australia. As we saw from the opening clips, they have already started the celebration. Don't be in a rush. Very soon, so a few hours from now, yours will also arrive. My name is Mie Ogedi, and I warmly welcome you to Political Update, as I said earlier, the edition for the year 2024. I must sincerely tell you that we need to take a retrospective look at some of the major events in the country. How has the relationship been between the executive and the legislature in the outgoing year? And what are your prospects for the election that will be coming in 2025? I mean, the Anambra State governorship election. A former presidential aide on National Assembly Senate, Senator Itainang, had an interview, or will be joining me, from our NTA Quibum studio, that is NTOU, to give us some perspective or his assessment of the relationship between the executive and the legislature and his take on the upcoming governorship election in Anambra State. My colleague, Clement Barikoin, will feed us the interview he is having with him.
All right, thank you, Mie, for joining us here in Oyo. We are live here, and then I have with me distinguished Senator Itainang. So we want to, look at the relationship between the legislature and the executive. How will you describe the relationship between the legislature and the executive as at today?
I think let me commend, before I describe the relationship, let me commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic. Being a senator, he knows what the legislature is about. Having been a governor and worked with the legislature and known the powers of the legislature and gave enough respect and latitude to the legislature in the Lagos State House of Assembly, I think he has transferred that and that ability, that knowledge and that powers to the National Assembly. So I will encourage states and voters that before you send somebody to the executive, the person should have had a relationship, should have had experience in the legislature, because he would know what to do. And of course, let me commend His Excellency, the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Oborokpabio, Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, on his trajectory of experience, first as a commissioner, second as a governor, third as a Senator of the Federal Republic, fourth as a Minister of the Federal Republic, and then now Senator and then President of the Senate. He has brought the experience he had as a governor, having a legislature, and then brought his experience as a senator, working under the Buhari presidency, and his experience as a minister under the Buhari second term presidency, now working with the and now presiding over the Senate. Though that experience has made them flow well, because there is the root and the taproot. I also commend my friend and brother, my colleague, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, because he's been a very experienced legislator. He's an academic, and other than academic, he's been chairman of many committees. I think the latest and the last one was chairman of land transport, in charge of railways and other. He's brought that experience in what we call a cognate experience to the legislature and now a presiding officer. So this is what has defined their relationship. But be that as it may, given their experience and given the way they want to work together, I still want to repeat what I have always said in my analysis of legislative-executive relationship, that any time that the legislature and the executive are working hands in gloves, working like husbands and wives, or working like people going to wed, the public should be afraid. So, although they are working together, although they are working very closely, although it is good, let them not be too close, so that the public interest can be protected when one arm wants to overpower the other. As of today, they are close, very close, and now I want to say dangerously close. Because, and if they are closer than this, I will urge the people to start being afraid, because they are capable of not minding the interest of the people, just simply making sure they go on. Now, I appreciate their relationship. It is good, and a lot of persons had used the word rubber stamp legislature under the Buhari's second term presidency. It wasn't a rubber stamp, and I'm glad that people are not using that word against here. What happened in the second term presidency of Buhari, when people used the word rubber stamp presidency, was that the Senate president then, my colleague, was a long-time ally of President Buhari. They were long-time allies in the APP, translating to the APC. And they had understanding. They had what they had called policies of what they will execute when they come into power. And so there was that understanding before then, that they had a purpose, they had a concept. So it was easier for the President of the Senate and the President of the Federal Republic to have confidence in each other. Look, we had discussed. We have a plan. We had a plan where we sold to Nigerians. This is with the plan under which we won election. I am president. You are president of the Senate. We go on exhibiting that. So they worked so much together. But then, whenever there was need to disagree, they did disagree. So, but under this other presidency of President Tinubu and the Senate President Godswill Oborokpabio and Tajuddin Abbas, they had that level of understanding. The Vice President has just left the Senate to go to be Vice President. The President himself, a Senator of the Federal Republic, former governor, and was leading the party and leading charge of the government. So there were this flow of common concepts, common of what we ought to be. So people are tempted sometimes to think that they are too close. Oh, it is a rubber stamp. It is not. It is because, again, they are of the same political party, and they hold caucuses in which they discuss many things before it comes.
All right, thank you so much, the distinguished. But let's now move away from that and look at the Anambra election. Next year, specifically November 5th, Anambra is going to the poll. That the people are already, getting up. A lot of things are ongoing ahead of that election, consultations and what have you. But let's look at, Anambra is an Abga state.
Yeah.
And what are the chances? You are a stakeholder, critical stakeholder of the APC.
Yeah.
And what are the chances there that the party, APC, will win in that election?
There is no more Abga, with the greatest respect. There is Abga in the field. There is Abga in the register of INEC as a political party. But Abga, yes, I apologize to Abga, there is Abga. But they are in liaison, they are in league, they are on the table with APC. So what is going to happen, what's likely to happen is, that APC will win. Now, where is Abga today? One of the biggest trustees of Abga is the progenitor of the Abga, and that is Ambassador Bianca Ojukwu, now the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. So there are in unity government with APC at the federal level. And Abuja has one senator, Senator Inaya Baribe. He is on the table with us. He is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Power, which is one of the 3 or 4 most powerful committees. So it's part of accommodating them at this level. Now, we will see. Abuja may only win by default if that state, Anambra State, behaves like the typical Anambra and Rivers. Anambra and Rivers have a twin political character. They always fall. There is always political problem within the party that doesn't that the other people will win by default. Just like what has happened in Plateau State, which because of my pastor says when God wants to bless somebody, he causes the other one to make mistakes. God blessed APC. I mean PDP. So it caused Labour that and others to make mistake. You know, it caused PDP to make mistakes. So all the candidates of the APC who came second, because the party PDP made mistakes and thought they are what they used to be, you know, and they have legal candidates who disobeyed court order. Now, all the things, the processes they took were annulled, and all the candidates of PDP, you know, or APC, were now declared. Unless that situation, if Anambra falls into that situation, which they often do, because if a person in APC in Anambra State behaves like whoever have access to the top or the control of the presidency, says the party is in my pocket and can sit anywhere and write anybody's name as candidate without going through all the due process that is prescribed by the Electoral Act. Only then will any other political party win. But now, the Abuja, it will rest well, and APC will win. There is no more PDP there or anywhere else, because when you talk of PDP, which one? Is it the Damagun PDP, or is it the Wike PDP, or is it the PDP in limbo, or some other? But I love them. I love them. Yes. Happy New Year, and a very, very prosperous New Year 2025.
The election year for Anambra State.
The election year for Anambra State that APC will win.
All right. Thank you so much, Mie. Take over from here as we round up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clement Barako, my colleague from NTA, having one-on-one with former presidential aide on National Assembly and also former presidential aide on Niger Delta, Senator Etaina. So back here in the studio, I have a guest, a youth leader, that we're going to give us some highlights on the efforts federal states can take to ensure that youths will be given the rightful place in terms of job creation and others. So join me as I welcome Wisdom Okereke. He is a member Rivers State Youth Parliament. You are welcome to Political Update.
Hello. All right, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, let's briefly hear from you. What is the take or an assessment of the youth policies by the present administration? Are you okay with them? And if you are not, what are the areas you think they need to revisit?
Thank you very much for this wonderful question. At first, my name is Honorable Wisdom Okereke, representing the good people of Eleme constituency in Rivers State Youth Parliament. The current administration, to me, I must say they are trying very, very well in terms of the youth. That I must say, right from the presidency, even the Minister for Youth. The Minister for Youth, as of, I think, around 17th of this month, he was able to flag off a particular program whereby he is trying to engage youth, which one happens to be the Nigeria Youth Academy, NIA. It's a wonderful platform whereby the youth can come together for mentorship, to learn new skills and every other thing that has to do with youth. Another one happens to be the Nigeria Youth Help Desk. I think the help desk is something that we also have to look into. Most of these our youths these days, we need help, but where to channel the request to happens to be the issue. But with the help of the current Minister for Youth, Comrade Wisdom Ayodele, I think he's trying his best to make sure such things are going to be settled very well. I think another thing I must commend the current government for is the essay for youth to the
President.
The president. As of last 2 weeks, I think last 2 weeks, if I'm not really making mistake, she came up with a particular program tagged the Youth Activity Dashboard. I watched her live on air while she was talking about the Youth Activity Dashboard. She made mention of it being a particular dashboard whereby she will bring a lot of youths together, whereby they will be having current updates of activities of the federal government, even down to the local government level, and there are ways at which they can also benefit from such dashboard. The only place I have issue with what she said was she said she was willing to work with the state government to make sure it gets to the grassroots. But to me, I'm not really okay with working with the state government alone, because meeting a youth in particular, you must go down to the grassroots, which is the government. And in Rivers State, where I hail from, we have the Rivers State Youth Council. We also have the Rivers State Youth Parliament, which I happen to be the member from Element constituency, in a way whereby she can work with the youth councils directly. I think she would be able to achieve this aim directly to the youth at the grassroots level. Because if the youth at the grassroots level benefit from such kind of programs, I think the pressure within the youth, saying that the government does not think about them or the government is not looking to their demands, is going to reduce drastically.
Okay, one other aspect, we have been talking about the federal government. Hello? What is the role of the youths in area of, especially when we talk of reducing the level of crime, because most of the crime are committed by youths. So what do you think you will tell your fellow youths so that they will also make things easier for the government?
Yeah, this is a very wonderful question, but permit me to digress a little. I will always use Rivers State as a case study because I hail from Rivers State. And in the Rivers State Youth Council, we have our chairman, Ambassador Bani. As of last month, we came up with a particular program, an empowerment program that we intend doing as a youth council to issue out some POS machines to some youths, for teach some other youth some skills, events, like some skills to learn as well. These are some of the programs that can be organized by youth leaders that would help to reduce crime rate in the state level. I will also go down to the local government level. The local government where I come from, that is Element local government to be precise. The local government chairman, Honorable Obarono Olo, when he assumed office, there was high level of crime in an Element local government. The killings were too much, but he engaged the youth with different activities. He gave some of them jobs, reduced the level of crime, and now today, if you should go to Element local government, everywhere is calm and peaceful. Another reference I'm to cite happens to be Honorable Robert Ogosu, that hails from Mole. On an annual basis, he calls the youth together. He buys JAMB form to those that are willing to go to school. If you know you want to go to school, he will call you, he will get you JAMB form, and you would write the JAMB. If you pass, to attain the higher institution. All these kind of programs will help the youth to remove their mind from going into criminality.
Let me comment, because I've been making reference to Rivers State. And the River State is one state that we have the issue of illegal oil bunkering, kidnapping and other issues.
Yeah, I've told him that.
And despite the list you have rolled out, we still experience these crimes on almost daily basis. So now, what will you tell your youth, especially on the dangers associated with these crimes?
The Bible says the wages of sin is death. That is the first thing I would say. The wages of sin is death. Most of these youths know the right thing to do, and they find themselves doing the wrong things, which they are not really okay with, if you should ask me. So my advice to them is reduce the level of bad things you do, even as a youth. Engage on meaningful activities. Abstain from criminality. Abstain from crime. There are lots of good things to do, even as a youth, to make this country a better place. The presidency is trying his best to make sure that we have a very nice country whereby everybody will be equal and experience a very better life. So let us try on our own, even as youth, to have hope. To have hope that one day this country will be well. Let's believe in the dream of the presidency to make sure to have hope that the country will move better and abstain from anything that will bring back the country.
Thank you very much. At this point, I would say Pastor Wisdom Okereke. Pastor, yes, you just you made reference to the Bible. It's not easy. I think someday you attend your church. My name is Mia Ogede, but before we go, let's take this wish from Mr. President as we count down to 2025.
2025 is a very promising year.
And on that promising note, we call it a day for today's edition on Political Update. My name is Mia Ogede. Hope to see you again next year, precisely on Friday. Thank you for watching. Please don't stay out of character. Be law abiding. Crossover night is not for crisis, but it's for prayers. Please abstain from crime and criminality.